We have no idea. And that's what we're asking about.
Shocked. I was in shock.
At least let us know that it's something they have in control or don't have in control. And do we have to make sure everything's locked up tight, you know, watch our dogs or our animals? We got a farmer back there too, you know, it's scary.
Trenton, South Carolina is an incredibly small city with a population of 196 as of the 2010 census. Interestingly, it's only a few miles from Johnston, South Carolina, where one of the earliest postal shootings took place in 1983. It's the topic of one of my earliest videos as well, so if you'd like to know more about it, check that video out, link in the description. A little ways out of town is a tiny neighborhood off of Tanglewood Drive, where everyone has a fair bit of their own space. And this is where today's tangled web will be woven. Joesph Anthony McKinnon, 60, and his girlfriend, Patricia Ruth Dent, 65, live in a little trailer home in the middle of the neighborhood at 102 Tanglewood Drive. And this is the kind of area where it's hard not to know everybody because there are just so few people. So everyone in the neighborhood knows Joesph and Patricia, but especially Patricia with her warm personality and energy. Everyone just loves her and her twin sister Pamela, just like everybody knew when Joesph decided to start digging to put a water trough in their garden around April 27, 2022. As he was an older man, it took him 10 days or so to get the hole dug deep and wide enough to fit the trough. The morning of May 7, 2022 was seemingly just like any other Saturday morning. Neighbor Stavensky B. Brewster left a little before 8 a.m. to get his cats to a vet visit in Aiken by 9 a.m., waving to Joesph, who was already working in his garden as he passed. But upon returning around 10 a.m., Stavensky noticed that Joesph was lying face up in his yard between his garden and his truck. Stavensky calls out to him, but Joesph doesn't reply, so he runs to Joesph and begins giving the man CPR. When this isn't successful, he calls 911, but Stavensky continues to work on Joesph until emergency services arrive. They too work on him for a bit, but finally give up and declare him deceased. As Edgefield County Sheriff Deputy Michael Clark speaks with Stavensky about the situation, he notices a hole in the garden area that Joesph appeared to be working on. Stavensky explains to him that Joesph was hoping to install a water trough and had been digging the hole for days, but notes it's odd that he didn't seem to have placed the water trough, though the hole is partially filled in. Deputy Coroner Hitt also finds Patricia's wallet on Joseph's body. The police knock on the door, however no one answers. Stavensky informs the police that Patricia is at work at Mount Vintage Golf Club in North Augusta, so Deputy Clark calls Mount Vintage Golf Club to confirm that Patricia Dent works there. A woman who works there informs him that Patricia does in fact work there. The deputy tells her that someone from the department will stop by to talk to Patricia shortly. After conferring with some of his colleagues, Deputy Coroner Hitt and Deputy Hunsberger take Joseph's wallet and his cell phone, as well as Patricia's wallet, and make the 20-something minute drive to Mount Vintage Golf Club, where they find another mystery on their hands. Once they arrive at the golf club and ask for Patricia, they are told that she was not at work today. She had no-call no-showed for her shift and hadn't replied to text messages seeking her whereabouts. Deputy Hunsberger reaches back out to Deputy Clark, informing him that Patricia was a no-call no-show to work that day. At this point, the case is turned over to other sheriff deputies who return to the house to see if they can find Patricia there. This time, when the sheriff's department returned to the trailer home, they tried again to knock, but no one answered. Suspecting foul play at this point, they enter the residence. As they called out for Patricia and began to search the house for her, it was clear to them that something was not right. Edgefield County Sheriff Jody Rowland says, "The smell of Clorox in the house was choking. It was obvious to us that the smell of Clorox signaled a significant effort to clean a crime scene." Investigators find blood residue in the den that matches Patricia. At this point, they turn their attention back to the garden and exhume the hole Joesph had mostly filled in. Sheriff Rowland says, "We knew there was a body under that dirt." And indeed, after just a little digging, they find a body wrapped in black trash bags. Once they retrieve the corpse from the hole, they cut open the bag to reveal Patricia dead and bound in duct tape. Sometime in the late evening or early morning, Joesph had strangled Patricia to death, bound her with duct tape, and finally wrapped her lifeless corpse in plastic bags. After their neighbor Stavensky left a little before 8 a.m., Joesph rapidly moved her body to the hole and attempted to bury her as fast as he possibly could, during which he had a cardiac event. Joesph puts the shovel down and tries to walk to his truck, but collapses halfway between his truck and the hole, landing face up. And this is where Stavensky found him and our story began. Patricia's twin sister Pamela is devastated at the news.
I'm shocked. I didn't see any of that coming.
Her twin sister Pamela says there were no signs of any of this happening.
Everybody who've ever met her liked her. She was just, she's full of energy. She's 65 and working. I would say a nightmare that, I want to wake up and it's a dream, but I know that it's not reality. This is life.
The Etchell County Sheriff tells us they're not aware of any visits to the house, no domestic violence incidents or any other type prior to this murder.
It's hard to say if Joesph planned this or not. However, in my opinion, it seems like this was an accident or an unfortunate event of abuse that went too far, as the burial was done with such haste or was just very poorly planned for a 2-hour window of time. So I personally don't think he planned this. I think he planned to put the water trough in and then got upset, killed her, and then buried her in haste. Though, as everyone involved is dead, it's rather hard to say short of a seance. And those are hit or miss to say the least. But what about you? What do you think? Is this karma? Pure luck? Highly likely when someone is older and at risk of a heart attack? Other thoughts? And continue your Beneath the Floorboard binge with this video. I think you'll like it.